Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to do a little bit of maintenance, and as you can tell, I've got the F250 behind me. Now, the last time we worked on her, we did a fuel filter, so today I figure we need to go ahead and drain the oil and make sure that she is up, running, and perfect. Now, the weather is cooling off. It is becoming fall, so that means it's 89 degrees with 100% humidity here in the south, which is much better than 110 with 100% humidity. So now that things are cooling off, I'm able to get back in the garage more, and there are a slew of projects that we have to do in the garage. Some of those being the O2 sensors on my Jaguar XKR. We also have to do the starter on the Cayman, which I want to go ahead and get done because I would love to do a fall drive at Tail of the Dragon. Any of those type of fall drivings are always my favorite things. But for today, we're going to work on the F250, so I guess the best thing to do is get started. So you may be wondering what goes into an oil change on a 7.3 liter diesel F250, and here's what you're gonna need. 15 quarts, yes, that is roughly 4 gallons of oil. Now we're using the Rotella 15W40. It is for a diesel engine, so that should work perfectly. The other thing that you will need is the oil filter, which I was amazed. Now, all of the parts will be listed in the description, so if you're looking for any of these, you can order them directly from those links. But look at the size of this thing. I actually did a short on YouTube and was asking people what they think this went to. This thing is the biggest oil filter I've ever seen. And of course, this holds probably like I'm going to say at least a quart, maybe 2 quarts. So out of those 15 quarts that we need, this is going to hold quite a bit of it. So we will be getting to that. Obviously, you'll need a container that can hold enough oil. You've got 4 gallons of oil roughly, so you've got to have a container that can hold that. You need a 3/4 inch socket so that you can take off the bolt. And then you will probably need something to help take this off. I will show you what I'm going to use. It's just a rubber strap that I can put around it and get a little torque. Remember, these things are not supposed to be torqued on any tighter than really with your hand. So if it is stuck on there, it's going to be a problem to get off because I have nothing that is that size to go around that diameter. This thing is freaking huge. Next thing that we need to do is pop the hood, take off the oil fill cap so that everything can drain, and then we'll be underneath the vehicle, which I am hoping is going to be one of the easiest oil changes I've ever done because, well, we're not going to have to jack it up. We're just going to throw the container under there, undo the bolt, replace the filter, fill it up, and hopefully we're done. I've jinxed myself now by saying this, so probably it will not go as smoothly as that, but we're going to hope for it. Let's get started. Now that we're under the hood, the best thing to do is go ahead and remove the oil fill cap. We just want to make sure that when it starts draining that there is no suction, and this will allow air to go in there and force everything out so we get a complete drain. The other thing that I'm going to do is just check where the oil is on my dipstick. This thing is huge. My oil actually looks halfway decent, and you can see right there, that is where we need to be. So somewhere between this mark right there is where, let's see if we can get in there. So somewhere right in here is where we need to be. All right, shove that back in the hole. Now, if you were here with me when we did the fuel filter, you will remember that for some reason, there's a little black cover that sits over this that I am missing, and I have not replaced it. Has not caused me any harm or damage. But this could use a bath underneath the hood. It is a little dirty, but she is my workhorse, so she's going to keep working. All right, let's go under and see what we've got to do down there. So we're underneath the vehicle now. If you're coming from the front, there is the hub for the 4-wheel drive here that's in the front, so it's kind of tight. But if you go from the side, it's not so bad. However, here is our oil drain, so we will definitely be using that. And then over here to the side is, hold on, whoops, right here is our oil filter. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get a good angle on all of this, so I'm going to set it up and start doing some work. Work. Just a quick hint that going from the side is definitely easier than going from the front of the vehicle. I do have a container under here now, so I'm hoping that it is big enough. I think it is a 5 gallon. All right. Well, that was super simple. I really should replace this bolt. I don't have one at this time. And I think the washer is just welded to it at this point. Yeah, that is some dirty looking oil, I know. She gets neglected, but she's a good girl. And she deserves better. I'm gonna treat her better. She is actually remarkably clean. There is nothing, oh, I shouldn't say anything. It's been too good of a vehicle. I will tell you, it's a 2000 F250 7.3. We've had some issues, but normal maintenance stuff. We had something with the fuel tank. We had something with the radiator at one time, but ultimately this thing has just been a workhorse. I really wish that they still made them like this. All right, now she's finally finishing up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in. Just wipe it off as I turn so that I get all that oil. All right, so that's hand tight. Now we get to have some fun and try to get this oil filter off, which is gonna be either super easy or it's gonna be the biggest pain in my butt ever. I'm gonna go with super easy. I'd like super easy. I'm gonna try the hand tightening way first. Okay, yeah, that I kind of knew was never gonna happen. So let me get a tool that I think might help me. I've got this handy dandy tool, which I'm hoping will go around this because it will give me some slack. Let's see what we can get in here. And this thing is just huge. I mean, huge. Without busting my knuckles, yes. Look at that. Okay, guys, that was the way to go. And now, when I take this off, I'm curious what type of mess I'm gonna get myself into. And this thing ain't light. All right, well, let's just let that thing do a little drain. So while that's dribbling, I might as well go ahead and tighten this. Remember, this is 3/4, so let's just I want it tight, but I definitely don't want to strip out that the pan. So just tight enough. Now that this is kind of stopped, I can hopefully make a mess, because I guarantee when this thing drops, it is not going to drop nicely. And it's all oily now. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh. So much in there still. I'm gonna put it in upside down. Ugh. So the good news is the old oil filter is off and all of the old oil is out. We can now do the reverse process and start filling things up. Now this thing is gonna hold some oil, so we're just gonna go ahead and pre-fill it because it needs to be as filled as possible so that we don't have any dry time when we start the engine. I'm just going to take a little bit of that oil and put it on the seal so that we have a good seal. Just remember to take your time at this point. This filter is made up of a filter component that starts to absorb the oil. So even though I filled it up twice to the top, it is actually seeping down in there. It is getting absorbed by the filter element, and then you add more. Filled it all the way to the top and it's already going down again, and that's the third time I filled it. But I think that that is probably pretty close to where it needs to be. Let's go back under the car and install this sucker. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing one of those cave movies where I'm like, all right, we're gonna just go for a casual cave dive. And then when you get under here, the aliens come out. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Filter housing is, and what we want to do with that is give it a good clean. You also want to check to make sure that the old seal is not still on there, because if it is and you try to put the new one on there, it will leak right this second. I am just going to clean this off. Yeah, that's good. You're going to get this new one on there ASAP without dropping it. There we go. And we can definitely feel when it starts to lock in there. Just clean around the mating surface. Make sure that nothing's going to drip on us. And like we talked about before, you want to do this hand tight so you can get it back off. And there we go. We are done. That oil filter is on there. That is hand tight. It's not going anywhere. And we should be good for another couple thousand miles. So far, we have drained the oil, we have taken the old oil filter off, we've replaced a new oil filter, and we've tightened the oil drain bolt so that everything underneath is buttoned up. Now we've got to finish by putting a whole lot into this engine. Now remember, when I filled that oil filter, I used one of these and it took about half a gallon, so whatever that comes out to. What I'm going to do is open the 3 new ones and pour those directly in, and that way it will leave me the one that's got about half in it to use to top off and to make sure it's easy, and that way I'm not really trying to sit here and count each quart. What I'm going to do though is make sure that it's got enough in there that upon startup we will have no issues. And yes, I know some of you guys were hoping I would not use a funnel. It's a funnel day. One down. 2 gallons down. All right, guys, 3 gallons. With 3 gallons in there, we're at 11.355 quarts, I think, if I did the math right. So that means we should see a little bit on here, I hope. Oh, we are. That's great. Let's check this one more time. Now remember, what we put in the oil filter is not showing up on here. So once the system starts getting all of the oil working through it, it is going to go down a little bit. So even if this says that it's full right now, it really isn't. And this thing probably has. And currently this thing is saying that it is full. So what would I do in this case? Well, we've got enough oil in there that we can start her up, let her run for a couple seconds, and then we can turn her off and check it again. That way we're sure that all of the oil has gone through the system and we can get a realistic reading, because I have a feeling that we're going to put a little bit more into it, but the last thing I want to do is overfill the system. Well, good news is we have oil pressure. So that was simple. We just started her up. Oil pressure was perfect. That means that she's at least getting it. Let's check now to see where this is. The first time we pull it out, we're just going to wipe it off because all of that oil has just been sloshing around in there. Let's put this back in. One of the longest oil sticks. So right now I am showing that I am at the bottom of the operating range, and I would like to be more in the middle to the high without going over the operating range. And that's kind of what we suspected would happen because, well, you know, we hadn't run the system yet. So I'm going to guess another 1 to 2 quarts. and we will be golden. Well guys, all I can tell you is doing an oil change on a 7.3 liter is super easy. The clearance that this truck has makes it so you don't even have to jack it up. Just get under there, drain the oil, remove the old filter, replace it with a new one, put more oil in it, and you are done. The great thing about this one being an older vehicle, there is no service monitor to reset. So I am good to go and ready to drive. Anyway, hopefully you like this. Hopefully this helps you get underneath your truck and start wrenching as well. We'll catch you next time. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one.